Before we revisit this topic of Target, I want you guys to know this is going to be a relatively lengthy video, not just to talk about Target and their losses, but also to kind of revisit the whole agenda that's being put on our kids. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about that phrase, that little buzzword that the left has been using. And by that, I mean the G word to refer to a certain community. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video because we're not just going to be going over Target. We're going to be going over schools. We're going to be going over the fact that the libs are at a bit of a voter deficit in the future. And of course, I'll also be leaving a couple of videos and a lot of links in the description box. Make sure you guys stick around. It's going to be a lengthy one.
And shoot. Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. So.
I mean, you're talking literally like a $9 billion shortfall here. You're talking about a massive loss in just a few days. Granted, retailers would probably lose a lot more money faster than most beer companies, but they're definitely turning into the brand new Bud Light. And here's the thing about Anheuser-Busch. All Anheuser-Busch has got to do, and I swear, I'm being honest with you guys. I know that, I've been saying this for a while. If Anheuser-Busch would just come on out, give an apology, say we screwed up, the most people would do is just simply make fun of them for a little while, but can probably go back to buying their product. Instead, they want to market us with Harley Davidson cans, when in reality, that just makes Harley Davidson look woke. That, my friends, would be Alex Stein, of course, going to Target and wearing one of those bathing suits, the whole tuck thing, the whole thing that's just been, targeted towards our kids. Yeah, and you kind of got to think to yourself, why in the world would retailers do this? I mean, have these people completely lost their touch? Have they completely lost exactly what it is that kids want? I mean, or is it just that, are they so overcame with this whole LGBTQ push? Is that what it is? Or is it something else? Now, guys, I wanted to come back to this Target issue one last time. There's also going to be a few updates at the end of this video, and of course, we're going to be detailing how the weekend's going to go. I've only got one video is going to come out, and it's going to be an explanation of Memorial Day because I know everybody's going to be going out of town for the weekend, or I'm guessing most of you guys are. I know that I'm going to be pretty well busy working on a couple of projects. Of course, my Memorial Day does not come till the following weekend, where I'm going to be out of town for about 2 or 3 days, but we'll talk about that more towards the end of the video. So, if you saw the video that I did yesterday that came out on a Thursday afternoon, I discussed the fact that I've been kind of wondering where everybody was when it came to this issue on Target. And one of my subscribers commented in the comment section something that I had completely forgot about and completely spaced my mind when I was talking about the topic of Target, of course, experiencing all kinds of losses. I'm pretty sure you guys are looking at what I'm putting up now, and you're seeing that Target's taking a bit of a loss. They're taking a loss a lot like what Bud Light is. As a matter of fact, they've kind of lumped them in with Bud Light and a couple more companies. But still, here's the thing about Target. Back in 2016, here in the state of North Carolina, where I live at, I just exposed where I live, and I try not to do that. But here's the deal. We had a governor, an incumbent governor, who was running for re-election. His name was Pat McCrory. And this whole bathroom thing came up. The whole bathroom bill, can biological men go inside of a women's restroom? And of course, we had a conversation. And the main conversation at that time was not so much the fact that, the mere fact that these people were going to be going into the bathrooms was obviously a problem going into the women's restroom in particular, because let's just go ahead and be honest, that's primarily who the hell was going to be going into the restrooms. But the main thing that people were forgetting about, that people kept on bringing up, that people for whatever reason kept suppressing, was the fact that there's a such thing called safety and security, and it's not just the fact that we're worried about our daughters or our wives or our girlfriends being inside of a bathroom with a guy, it's the mere fact that they run the risk of assault. Well, here's the thing. That risk obviously still is in place if you have this. There are a lot of incidents of people identifying as a different gender, a different sex or whatever, and then they go inside these restrooms, and of course, some students have gotten beaten up in high school. Some people have been assaulted. And you got to ask yourself a question, what gives here? Of course, there was also the incident in California, if you guys remember, where the woman went inside I think it was like a bathhouse or a spa or something. Let me go ahead and kind of refresh you guys.
Koreatown over the issue of gender.
That's right. Video of spa goers complaining was posted on social media. KCAL9's Chris Holmstrom has video of the dispute live from Koreatown this afternoon. Chris.
Juan and Susie, this video is going viral. Already over 100,000 views on Instagram, even more on Twitter, and it's video that has a lot of people talking.
I just want to be clear with you. It's okay for a man to go into the women's section.
A rant caught on cell phone camera at We Spa in Koreatown. In the video, the woman claims a naked man was in the women's day spa.
He's a man. He is a man. He is not no female.
The woman who posted this video to Instagram goes by the name of Cubana Angel with the title, Christ is King.
What really? What law? What law? So women can go into the men's with their breasts.
The video goes on for about 3 minutes. Bambi Salcido is the CEO of Trans Latina Coalition.
I think this is one of the horrible things that we experience every single day within our society.
We reached out to We Spa. They declined to comment, but say they do follow state law, which makes discriminating against trans and other non-conforming people in business establishments illegal.
California is the state in the whole nation that has the most trans-inclusive legislation. And obviously different local governments also adopt some of those laws.
Later in the video, other guests try to defend the person, but Cubana Angel was not having it. In fact, in the comment section, she posted, "Real women rights matter." That comment got more than 251 likes.
That's the type of stuff that could happen in these places. That's the type of stuff that could happen in these areas where you allow people of a, let's just say, even though you may, well, I got to kind of be cool here because it is YouTube. I do have Rumble for a reason, but for whatever reason, that algorithm just doesn't it doesn't even notify people, you know what I'm saying? Something very, very weird with it. I got to figure that out. Maybe I should just get a bigger following here on YouTube before I even decide to take a crack at Rumble. But still, at the same time, though, here we are. Target, once again, pushing the whole woke line, pushing all this type of stuff on our kids, pushing anything and everything woke or pride on little children who, quite frankly, have absolutely no understanding of what is going on, nor do they need to even know. Look, it's one thing to teach someone in high school about this type of stuff, but small children, 2, 3 years old, and of course the best weapon right now we have in the arsenal to get these people to change their attitude is obviously Alex Stein.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. So.
Because it tells employees and it tells just about everybody who's even interested in this nonsense that this is just exactly how insane and how crazy and how polluted it is. Now, guys, here's the deal. Target has been doing this really for a while. I got reminded of 2016, like I said, from one of my subscribers. I do not give away names or anything like that. I thought it was a bit of a great save because I thought about that and I was like, wow, I remembered that and completely left that out of the previous video. So it shouldn't be surprising that Target has gone from bathrooms to having a certain line of clothing in one area of the store to now having a line of clothing targeted towards small children, especially some of them, of course, are babies. I mean, who the hell else wears onesies, to then all of a sudden having the whole tuck thing put on the actual clothes themselves. It makes you wonder exactly how sick and twisted and disgusting these people are. And then, of course, it hit me like anything else does. Even though it's Pride Month coming up, and of course, like I told you guys before, I think the whole Pride Month thing needs to be dropped. It's also very weird that they chose to put that on the 6th month of the year. Makes you really wonder what the hell is really and truly going on there, especially given the fact that Target was also promoting stuff with satanic imagery. Now, really quick about that. Come to find out that a lot of people were upset because Target, apparently they launched this in connection with a company out of the UK. Yeah, it makes you wonder exactly how far it's gone in the UK. Remember, a lot of the stuff that we're experiencing now, a lot of the stuff already got pushed in Europe years before. It just seems to me like here in the United States, we have a much, much larger class of people that is in fact asleep. as I have said on multiple occasions, I don't blame the drag queen for doing the performance, even though the drag queen should not be doing the performance in front of certain set audiences. I blame the parent more for carrying the child to said performance or having their child watch it. Little kids do not seem to understand this. They do not understand what is going on. And I guess that is the idea, because obviously they're trying to groom these kids. Now, let me say this really quick. Why in the world are they doing this? Well, I did a video on this topic a while back. All right, and in that video, I talked about the fact that by way of fatherly.com, that conservatives have kids 2 per 1 lib. Yeah, basically what it is that conservatives have 2 children per 1 lib per household, meaning that working class families or Republican voting families have a tendency to have more children. This has been the trend ever since the mid-90s. Now, you can ask yourself why that is the question, and we can get into all the technicals about that at a later date, probably in some form of project or something. But the fact of the matter is this right here is how the hell they are actually trying to indoctrinate our kids, is going after them when they're little tiny babies. Let me give you guys an example of what I mean. Do you guys remember in Florida when the whole Parental Rights Act got signed? And, of course, we were fighting back against the extreme wokeness when DeSantis, he did that very good job. And I know you're probably thinking, when are you going to do a video on DeSantis' rollout? I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, it wasn't as good as you might would think, considering the fact that they're saying that it broke the internet, when in reality, it just broke Twitter, and of course it shut down 5 minutes in. Then they had to put it right back up, and I may do another video on that. I just don't know. I may do that as a form of a 2024 preview later on down the road. I've been trying to do a lot less pure political takes over the past few months, but the fact of the matter is we need to get back on topic. I apologize for that. So basically what they've been doing is they've been targeting our kids at a very young age. And by that I mean they're targeting kids in elementary school, which I also don't just find sick, twisted, and disgusted. I also find very, very weird, because little kids like that, when they're like 7 or 8 years old, they'll probably forget about this. You're probably thinking they're trying to normalize it into society. But even that right there is kind of weird, because the mental state of a child, more times than not, what eventually happens is a child eventually blocks that out, and then all of a sudden it comes right back. That's kind of sort of how the trauma works. It's kind of repressed, and it comes back at a later date in some other form. It's pretty sick, it's pretty twisted, it's pretty vile, it's pretty disgusting. I mean, I have no more acronyms I can use to actually, or no more adjectives to, or anything that you might can use to describe this entire process, but that's the reason why they've been going after children at a very young age. They've been doing this to try to produce more and more Democrat voters, because obviously liberals, for whatever reason, don't want to have kids. Well, the truth be told is we know the real reasons why they don't want to do that. Typically, more suburban liberals tend to wait a little bit later in life to actually have kids until they begin to settle down, because obviously the college-educated class, which I think is something they may want to look in the mirror about, because oftentimes just because you're college-educated does not mean that you are in fact smarter. In some cases it means that you're actually dumber.
It's illegal.
California is the state in the whole nation that has the most trans-inclusive legislation. And obviously different local governments also adopt some of those laws.
Later in the video, other guests try to defend the person, but Cubana Angel was not having it. In fact, in the comment section, she posted, "Real women rights matter." That comment got more than 251 likes. Salcido calls it ignorance and hopes one day all trans people will be treated with respect.
The trans community, particularly trans women, right? Like, we experience this type of violence every single day of our lives.
I had to grab a cigarette for that one, because when I hear somebody say this is the type of violence that we go through and that we don't have rights, I got to say this. Number one, the people of California that time, they voted for that. So maybe you should check out the candidates that you're voting for instead of just saying Republican or Orange Man bad. Number two, here's the next thing that needs to be said. Because I haven't really said this very often out of fear of being canceled, or possibly, well, not really fear of being canceled. I'm talking about canceled off of YouTube, not canceled by the general public. I could really and truly care what people say, because you're never going to change my opinions on this. First of all, when you say that you don't have any rights, I got to ask the question, don't you have more rights now than ever? I mean, I was under the impression that there was a genocide going on with that community, but in reality, when you think about it, there kind of is a genocide. You see, the other night during that debate between Tim Pool and Lance, it was him that brought this up, and I've been wanting to say this for a while. I've been trying to get out there and word it the correct way. But in reality, what's really going on is there kind of is. You see, a lot of these leftists are going out there, and what they're really doing is they're forcing these people to, let's just say, cut off their ability to reproduce. Dude, the transitioning and detransitioning horror stories, they are in fact horror stories. I'm going to be leaving this video right here from this guy named PaxTube. He does a lot. He has done a lot of very good videos. I advise you guys to go check him out. As a matter of fact, this is the direction I'm trying to angle my content when it comes to presentation, is more in video essay form. But this guy right here brings up some stories from Reddit. I advise you guys check them out. I'll leave the link in the description box for that video for you guys to check it out. And I don't really do endorsements of very many channels, but he is definitely one of them. I've actually went through and watched like all 25 of his videos. They're all very good, and they're all let's just say that they are pretty well detailed, and they are very good. I'm surprised the guy's channel is not bigger. And another thing too, I'm no feminist. As a matter of fact, I'm about as anti-feminist as you're going to see without being completely irrational or in the red pill space. But let me go ahead and say this right now. Women do have rights. They have rights to privacy like anyone else does. I mean, at one point in time, they kind of came up with the whole theory that maybe what they should do is do family restrooms. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, okay, but there's a problem. It's a family restroom for a reason. These people are never really truly going to be able to produce a family. So maybe they should have separate restrooms, maybe outside the store somewhere for their own convenience, because they've obviously, I'm not going to get too far in the weeds on that one because it's very hard to explain. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are watching this video right now saying, how the hell are you going to weave that one without actually getting banned? The thing is this right here. Every time I turn around, we keep losing sight of the fact that people do have basic human rights. And one of those rights is to be able to use the bathroom in private, to be able to go into an area with full privacy. I rip on the whole issue about biological men being in women's sports because I initially am a sporting person. It's what I went to school the last time I went to college for. I grew up playing sports my entire life. I love sports. And I do respect women's sports. I do respect the fact that they can play softball together, they can box together, they can play football. We don't really know as much football outside the lingerie football league. And I don't really watch it because it's really mostly for comedic purposes. But they have their own sports leagues and their own reason and their own leagues for a reason. It's because they're actual women, actual biological women, and they shouldn't have to have their privacy violated. I don't know how many times we got to talk about the whole Leah Thomas, Riley Gaines ordeal. I mean, I don't know how I don't know why in the world is I'd have to bring that up again, but I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. Women obviously have rights, and they obviously have privacy as well. And when you allow somebody to go in there who is not a woman, this right here is going to create all kinds of problems. Possibility of assault, the possibility of, I'm pretty sure you guys can already just kind of think of whatever scenarios in your mind. I'm not going to try to do that here during this video, but the fact of the matter is this right here. It seems to me like that lady at the very end saying we don't have any rights and we hope to have full rights. It seems to me like you may have a few too many rights if you guys are kind of picking up on my drift. And pushing this whole trans thing does not help the person who's got gender dysphoria. You see, about 80% of those who may be considering going trans, they end up, especially when it comes to males, they just end up becoming gay later on. And it's also possible that they may have gone through a gay period or a gay phase. They may even become straight. I try to find some stories on guys that have actually been gay at one point in time that then later on became straight and actually had families. I'll try to find some stuff and link it in the description box for you guys. But the mere fact that you're going ahead and doing these trans surgeries and encouraging it, and then they turn right back around and say it's under the guise of healthcare. No, it is not under the guise of healthcare. This appears to be more like experimentation. It's almost like what the Joseph Mengele and all the Nazi scientists did. This is more experimentation than anything else. And by the way, do I have to bring up the self-deletion rate? And I know somebody's probably going to say, where is your evidence for post-op surgery? And right now, all I have to say to you is this right here. Not a lot of evidence has been cited on that, but I'll try to leave that portion of that debate that I brought up earlier for you guys in the description box, because there were a lot of things that were hit on in that discussion that nobody tends to think about. Fact of the matter is there actually is a transgenocide, and what it is it's people on the left pushing these people to go ahead and basically end themselves by ending their line and ending their ability to reproduce. That is what the hell is really and truly going on. I've always been of the belief that maybe what a person should do is grow and actually live for a while. And at the same time, during that time frame where they actually live, they can kind of get to know who they are, and then they can kind of figure things out on their own. And we definitely should not be paying for this crap on the taxpayers. My friends, wokeness is just a good old-fashioned feudal lifestyle. Think about this really quick. You have a lot of people who are pumping the whole LGBTQ, gay marriage, gay narrative. Two women together can't have babies. Two men together can't have babies. Even though the man may identify as a woman, did not get bottom surgery. And even if they did get bottom surgery, they don't have ovaries or anything, so therefore they cannot have children. Whereas women will then identify as men. Of course, they don't have the ability to make kids because they don't have a penile. They don't have the, I can't say it here on YouTube. I had to use penile, of course, because of the way the algorithm works. Wokeness is, quite frankly, a completely futile lifestyle. And then you got to go into the factors that, of course, you have the straight liberals who then, of course, they then decide to have kids, and the next thing you know, they start taking so much birth control that their womb is actually messed up, or they get elective procedure abortions, or they put off kids to a much, much later age when they're not as healthy. Look, here's the truth. Men can have kids at any age, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but typically for women, you want to have children between the ages of, I don't know, maybe 21 and 35. I do know that women can have kids in their 40s, but it's very rare, and she's got to be almost in damn near pristine physical condition. So, I mean, I understand this requires a bit of a rant or whatnot, but I'm just kind of telling you guys why it is that they have been going after our children for a while. My solution to this: don't shop at Target until they get brand new CEO or brand new management. In the meantime, shop local. Shop at small stores. Shop local. Buy local. Small businesses. Go that route there. Just know that these woke corporations are going to continue to go after you and your children going forward, because guess what? These people don't have kids themselves, so quite frankly, they don't care about anything except taking over your kids because of some very weird mother complex. I have no idea what the hell it is. Gang, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and get to these very, very few updates. Let me go ahead and get that taken care of, and I'll go ahead and close this video down and go ahead and tell you guys about the one video that's going to be coming out this weekend. It's going to be a video on Memorial Day. Let's go ahead and get to that. And on the school thing, there was a whole hoopla, if you guys remember correctly, on teachers saying we need to be able to share our lifestyle with our kids. And of course, when they say our kids, they're really talking about your kids. They think your kids are their kids. That is not the case. Those are your kids, not theirs. Those kids are simply sent to a school for you to teach those kids, for you to actually teach them things that, quite frankly, we're not going to be able to teach because you're educators. The whole point behind that is you to teach those kids and help those kids out in learning something, not sharing your actual personal life with them. This is something these people do not seem to understand, probably because the school boards and the media have told them that they need to do so. That's another reason why it is that they're attacking kids, because they need to find a way to produce future Democrat voters, because in the future they're actually at a bit of a deficit. Guys, there's only going to be one video out this weekend, and it's going to be coming out on Saturday. And I'm doing this video because, a lot of people tend to not understand that there is a difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day and holidays itself. I'm going to be talking, of course, about Flag Day, of course, July the 4th, that type of stuff there. But a lot of people have this tendency to say thank you for your service if you're a veteran, and most veterans don't want you to thank them for the service on Memorial Day. Mostly due to the fact that Memorial Day is the day that we honor our dead. It's the day that men and women actually died in service of this nation overseas in wars. I don't want to come off as too scathing, but don't worry, I'll explain a little bit more in the video for the weekend, which, by the way, I may change it up and release it tomorrow. I'll let you guys know on the community tab. Don't worry, we're also going to be using that community tab a little bit more. I know you guys are going to be busy this Memorial Day weekend, but that does not mean there won't be videos that won't come out on Sunday or Monday. It's just I'm going to be, let's just put it this way here. I'm going to be more in current events mode. I've not been wanting to be in current events mode, but because I'm going to be busy, like I said, I'm basically swapping out Memorial Day weekend for the following weekend, and it's going to be about 3 days, of which I'm not going to be here, but I'm going to try to have 2 projects out, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. I'm going to try to have the events of the day on Thursday released on Friday. And of course, the 2 videos I want to talk about is the gaming video that I wanted to do. And of course, I also wanted to talk about the TradCon situation. But that video right there may get replaced. Also, something else too for short-timer prepping. The gun confiscation and red flag law videos, they will be coming out on short-timer prepping instead of John Claymore. Reason being is because we're going to be experiencing a bit of a shakeup. So make sure you guys stick around for that. Guys, John Claymore here. If you guys like this content, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. If I've earned your subscription, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit the notifications bell, and I'll see you guys later.